What do you got, Coach? 3 things that all coaches need. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of coaches?
New York or the Aces? Definitely going with the Aces.
All right, 4th down. Who has the tougher job, coaches or officials? If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? But Texas is different. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Coaches Co-op, a masterclass in athletic leadership where coaches connect, grow, and share the grind. I'm your host. My name is Michael Prejean. Most people know me as Coach P. Each week, I have the privilege of teaming up with coaches across the country to break down the wins, the lessons, and everything in between. This week on the Coaches Co-op, we're joined by a true leader in Texas athletics, the Senior Executive Director of Athletics and UIL Compliance for the Houston Independent School District, a Texas High School Athletic Directors Association Regional Athletic Director of the Year, NCS4 Professional of the Year, and the current Texas High School Athletic Directors Association President. He has built a career built on mentorship, integrity, and elevating student athletes across Houston's biggest stage. With your real hands or with your virtual hands, I want y'all to welcome to the stage Andre Walker. Coach Walker, how are you today?
Man, I'm doing well, Coach P, and I'm really grateful and thankful for you for having me on. I really appreciate this opportunity.
All right, Coach Walker, this segment is called Talk That Talk. As we were talking previously, this segment got its genesis from a conversation that I was having with you at the Texas High School Athletic Directors Conference. You said that the one thing that coaches don't do enough is brag, which is, it's kind of antithetical to what coaches do, right? Yeah. But you were very clear. You said coaches don't talk enough about all of the good things that are going on. So, Coach Walker, this is your opportunity to talk that talk. I want you to talk about all of the great things going on in HISD athletics and the HISD community overall. Coach Walker, I need you to talk that talk. Go.
Again, Coach P, one of the hard things for coaches is to talk about the good things they're doing, right? And so a lot of times they get lost in the shuffle because they don't, and people think it's just supposed to happen that way. When it takes a whole lot of things and a whole lot of work and a whole lot of energy that they put into actually what they do. And athletic directors do the same. And so, when you come and you talk about Houston ISD and Houston ISD athletics, of course, we have some of the highest growth that has ever taken place in the classroom, right? We always want to talk about academics first, because we know academics comes first, athletics is second, and then when you have both of them together, that equals success. And so that's the main thing, just the growth that we've had in the classroom and our students and test scores. So really, really proud of that. And then, when you talk about on the field, the courts and those different things, we've just had a ton of success, and it hasn't happened overnight. There's been time put into it, and our coaches have put a lot of time and a lot of effort into the things that they do. When you talk about last year, we had 3 teams make it to the state tournament. I mean, that was the first time in the history that taken place, right? When you talk about football teams making it to places that they haven't made it before, teams that have never made it to the playoffs, and they make it to the playoffs. I can go on and on about the different sports that elevated themselves. I can even talk about the bands, right? I spoke earlier about the last 3 to 5 years, how our bands have just grown, and people really come to games now to not only enjoy watching the teams participate, but listening to the bands play and how they're performing and doing great things in the stand. And now it is benefited by those teams making it to the UIL band competitions and those kind of things. I mean, we had success with tennis and golf and those things that folks we haven't had a lot of success in the past. Now we're starting to have those things. And again, that's just hard work of students and coaches and communities actually working together. And I think that's the key. When you work together in it, all things are possible when you work together. And that has been some of the things that have really pushed us forward. When you look at our students that are going on to college, whether it's NAIA, Division III, Division II, Division I, they're having more success because of the program, not the team, but of the overall program that's taking place at their school. So educational-based athletics, not only in Houston ISD, but in the surrounding areas in this entire state, are really growing because we understand that it starts in the classroom first, and that filters out to the playing surface. And that's, again, I can talk about Houston ISD, but I have to talk about the entire state and the things that coaches are doing around this state to really make programs and not teams.
Coach, I think where you started, I know where you started was so important, because if all you do is read the newspaper,
right,
you would have no idea about all of those good things that are going on in HISD. Right. So I wrote this down earlier. So Houston, depending on what year it is the third or fourth largest city in the nation, population-wise, right? The greater Houston area. So HISD has 180,000 students approximately, 274 schools, 39 high schools that participate in UIL activities. So you talked about the things that are going on in the community, the things that are going on in the classroom, not only from athletics, but from a band standpoint, in the classroom standpoint, and then unprecedented success athletically. So I know while you sit at the top, right? I know none of that happens, right? The unprecedented athletic success without your team. Right. So I want you to talk about your team right here.
Yeah. I mean, I have amazing athletic directors. I have 5. We've operated on 4 for a long time, and fortunate enough, 2 years ago, was able to hire a 5th. And the work that they're putting in, Coach, they're here 9 in the morning, okay? They don't go home to 9, 10, 11, sometime midnight at night. And that's not 5 days a week. That's 6 days a week. And depending on what season it is, we're in the offices a lot on Sundays, because if like this weekend, we're preparing for playoffs. And so we won't know until Saturday night some of the teams that's actually going to be in their placement. So we'll be in the office Sunday, working, making sure that we have people seated right, making sure that, we've certified everybody. Again, people don't know that athletic directors have to certify their teams to make sure they have all the correct information. We deal with eligibility 7 days a week. I deal with an eligibility question 7 days a week. Kids have to be eligible to participate. If not, it hurts the team. It hurts the entire program. It hurts the entire community. And so my team members, they wear their hard hats every day. And they do it because they love it, right? It's not about the pay. It's not a position where you get a lot of fame and glory, because a lot of time they're the bad people, right? Because person may not be eligible and people don't understand why. Or they may be at a game and they have to stop something from happening that they know is not right. And so they're not the most popular people all the time, but they are the ones that put their hard hats on and really come and put their best foot forward every day. And then you have to think about their families, right? We see them, we know them, but their families sacrifice so much for them to do something that they enjoy doing. And so not only, do I give a shout out to my athletic directors, but also to their families. And, at all of our stadiums and field houses, we have stadium managers and assistant stadium managers, and they're there the same amount of time that our athletic directors are. They're doing and dealing with some of the same things. They have to make sure there's requirements on fields and what they have to look like, how they have to be lined, how the court has to be set up. Those requirements are things that they do. They have to have clean and safe environments to welcome the communities in and welcome the teams and players in. And so you're right, man. I just give a shout out to all of my team members for all of the hard work they put in.
I absolutely love that. Most people do not know what it takes to put on an athletic event.
Right.
Much less an athletic event in the fourth largest city in the country, in a tremendously large district. So let me ask this question. This is not one of my scripted questions, but as you were talking, I thought about this. I know it's not a one size fits all solution, but what can we do as athletic professionals to continue to educate the public, the bystanders, on what it really takes? Because you talked about, hey, sometimes the athletic staff, sometimes they have to be the bad guy, the quote unquote bad guy. So what can we do to just kind of educate, regular Joe on what it actually takes and how they can support educational athletics?
It's really simple. It's really simple. You talk to them. At games, oftentimes the athletic administrator will be on the sideline. Okay. And they're watching the game, and that's what they're supposed to do. But we make it a point to go in the stands. I sit in the stands a lot. I don't have a problem talking with the community, with people. They have questions they want to know, and you have to be willing to have those conversations with them, right? And so oftentimes I'll go sit in the stands, and most of my time is spent on the sideline or in the end zone, or in a corner at a basketball game or whatever game it is. But there are times that I will go do that, and they have hard questions for you. They want to know why. I'm a HISD grad, Cashmere Senior High School, and I went into the stands for 1 hour games, and one of my seasoned citizens, he had some questions for me. Andre, I want to know, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? And I had to sit there and talk with him. You can't shy away from those things. You may not always have the answers, but don't shy. They have more respect for you, when you engage them and talk with them.
That's good. That's good. So would you describe your approach to being the senior executive director of athletics and UIL compliance? Would you describe your approach as kind of like a grassroots approach?
Yes, sir.
Because I know what you're doing. It's not happening everywhere.
Right.
It's not happening everywhere. Coach, that's good stuff. Okay. Let's talk about you a little bit. Right. Let's talk about you a little bit. So HISD product, graduate of Kashmere High School.
Yes, sir.
But I want to go back before then.
Okay.
I want to go back to Andre Walker, the student athlete. That's where I want to go. So how did you get your start in athletics as a student athlete? And then we'll transition to the professional side.
Well, I'll say this. I was a horrible middle school player. Played football and played basketball. Didn't know how to use the equipment. And so I use my hands a lot. And I was able to do that because, during the summers, I was in Louisiana and I threw a lot of hay. And so I was pretty strong just naturally from what I did and what my dad had me doing all summer, every summer, right? And so once I got to high school, I really wasn't going to even participate in athletics. And my best friend, I'll never forget, Kent Tyson. And Kent came to me and said, "Man, Dre, we're playing." And I was like, "Kent, I don't know, man. I'm not that good," right? He's like, "You know what? Let's just do it." And so I went out there, and of course, then you could do the Oklahoma drill, right? And so my freshman coach, Coach Briggs, had us doing the Oklahoma drill, and I just made a decision. It's like, I am not going to be the one taking the punishment. I'm going to be the one giving some. And I made that decision to do that. And, one of the best feelings in my life, having those pads and making that contact. And from there, coaches had gained a lot of confidence in me, and went on to play varsity as a sophomore and starting linebacker. And that was big. That was big in that community. I mean, that just didn't happen a lot. But I give all the credit to those upperclassmen because they took me in. They didn't leave me out there on the island. They took me in. They coached me up. And then I noticed I started coaching. I started coaching on the field. I started coaching on the sideline. I started coaching when we would go scout games. We actually went and watched our next week opponent. We actually sat there and watched, and we scouted and we looked at those kind of things. I wasn't the normal size. I was small for a little linebacker, and that's why I had to study so much. And in that, I was able to call plays of our opponents before they actually could run that play. And you think about that. If somebody's stating what you're about to run, that makes you a little nervous. That makes you wonder, how does this guy know what we're getting ready to do? And that's how, I had to do those things to kind of have any kind of success playing in the sport. So that's kind of how I got my start as a student athlete. I've never been the best student, but I always worked hard in my classes, and my teachers knew that, right? And they knew that, and they worked with me. And so, again, I have to give it to every teacher at Chatham, Terra, Cashmere. They helped mold me. They really did.
So I'm a former basketball player, and I'll say this: the Oklahoma drill converted more football players into basketball players than any other drill.
Yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking this is what I wrote: Sam Mills type linebacker, right? Played for the New Orleans Saints Dome Patrol. Mm-hmm. But I also heard high IQ. Right. So what part of that, you said I didn't want to take the punishment.
Right.
So is the word that I could translate that to when it comes to athletic administration, initiative? No
doubt. That is the perfect word that you can use. Initiative. Yes, sir.
Taking that initiative. Because what I want the people who may be watching or listening, I want them to understand how athletics translates across mediums. It translates across mediums. Okay, so
Coach, let me stop you right there. When you're talking about, and that is so key what you just said. Think about it. What I played middle linebacker. Okay. Every snap, you're in a car wreck or train wreck. You bobbing, you weaving, you're doing those kind of things. You look at the size of this district. You look at everything that's going on. You're bobbing, you're weaving. You're in those. You have to continuously move and handle situations. And so again, my direct position, as well as the sport that I played, actually translated, as you stated, into the role that I'm in today.
That's good. That's good stuff. And I just want to point out, I'm not a native Houstonian, but since I've been here, I try to do my homework. I try to make sure that I learn. So, you know, you're probably just a few years older than the kids who are playing today. So when you were playing in HISD, and this is not a knock to the kids who are playing today, the kids who played a couple of years ago,
right,
that was a different HISD though.
Yes, sir. That's true. That's true. We were in the process of changing, because that was a period of time where people started to make the decision to move to surrounding communities. So we were in that process, but it is totally different than what it was then.
Yeah, yeah. So student athlete as a young person. So when did the coaching bug bite you? When did you know that you wanted to be a coach?
So again, I was doing it without knowing really what I was doing. And my former coach, Coach Gary Dunham, who was not my head coach, but he was an assistant coach at Cashmere and later became the head coach. He coached football, he coached basketball, he coached whatever sport he coached it. And before me, my brothers and sisters attended Cashmere. After me, all of my nieces and nephews did. And my nieces played basketball, and he was the girls' basketball coach. And he had me to coach his team for a few summers. And I think that's when it really hit me, because before then I did some coaching at our church for the PAL League. Our police department, HPD, used to have a PAL League, and our church got involved in it. And so I was doing it a little bit, and as I continued, and then when Coach Dunham asked me to do that, it was natural. And then it just started happening. And that's where I really realized, like, didn't want to be in education, but I kind of like this coaching thing.
Okay. So, but your route wasn't necessary. I can't call it non-traditional. So, because you were a coach, right? But you were also an assistant principal.
Correct.
Okay. And then from assistant principal into athletic administration.
I was made to be an assistant principal. Okay.
My
former principal made me be an assistant principal. She gave me a directive. And I've told this before. Ms. Mabel Caleb, who was the principal of Key Middle School when I was subbing and doing those kind of things. And I never forget it. I mean, she called me in her office one day. And again, I've stated this before. And she actually kicked me off the campus and told me I could not return until I was enrolled in school in a master's program. And Coach, I wasn't ready. I didn't know it just caught me off guard. This was just out of the blue one day. And I'll never forget leaving out of that building and calling my wife and saying, "Hey, Ms. Caleb just kicked me off campus." And of course, her question was, what did you do? It's like, I did nothing, right? I didn't do anything. And I told her what Ms. Caleb told me. And she was like, "Well, I think you better go enroll in school," right? And I did that. And I'm so grateful that she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Truly grateful.
How do you spell her name?
It's Mabel, M-A-B-L-E, Caleb, C-A-L-E-B.
C-A-L-E-B. We need more Miss Calebs.
No doubt. No doubt.
We need more people like that. Right. I remember telling my dad one day, so education, athletics was not my initial career choice. I did something else for 8 years. All I ever wanted to be was a coach. That's all I ever wanted to be. Like, I didn't, at the time, I didn't think I had high aspirations. Knowing what I know now, those are lofty expectations and aspirations.
Right.
Okay. But I decide to enroll in a program, alternative certification program. And my dad says, man, it's about time. I wish my dad had done me like Miss Caleb did you.
She did
and
that.
said, what are you doing?
Right.
This is not where you belong. The world needs more Miss Calebs. I'm gonna tell you what else we need, Coach. We need PAL. Bring back PAL.
Yep. Yes. No, I totally agree with that, because when we look at, especially when you talked about being a basketball player, and you talk about, when you think about the number of players, and you think about only so many, those kids still need something to do, right? Sure. And you know, my fame to glory with coaching in PAL was I coached Mike Jones, right? The rapper Mike Jones. Lived in apartments.
I started to say who?
Yeah, right. He lived right by apartments right by our church, and was fortunate enough to coach him. And I would pick him up. I drove an Aerostar van, okay, which was my parents' van.
Oh, Ford Aerostar, yeah.
Right. And I would pick up the guys, and this young man, this kid would rap from the time I picked him up to the time we got to wherever we was going to play. And the whole time I would be saying, Mike, please be quiet, not knowing that, you know, because he said, Coach, one day I'm gonna be a rapper. And to see him, you know, we can talk about rap or whatever, but to see him know at that time, and he was a good point guard as well. He was a really good point guard, you know, when he played for me. To see him knowing that's something he wanted to do, and see him actually able to do that, you know, that was cool for me.
That's a great story. We need more Miss Caleb's. We need to bring back PAL. Where I grew up in Louisiana, they always sponsored one of the baseball teams.
Got you.
So PAL, there was always a team named PAL, and there was always a team named FOP, that the Fraternal Order of Police would sponsor that other team. And for whatever reason, whatever team they sponsored was always the worst team in the league. And we didn't call them FOP, we used to call them flops.
I got you.
But we need that community reinvestment. We need that to happen again. All right, Coach. Let's kind of talk some technical things just a little bit. So national recognition, state recognition for your leadership, right? Right now, you are the current president of the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association. That recognition does not come without success, right? You've done some things, you've moved the needle, and people know that you have moved the needle. So beyond wins and losses in your athletic program, what are the things that you're looking at as KPIs? What are some of your key performance indicators in HISD?
Growing our coaches. I mean, we have a group of new education system schools, right? Mm-hmm. And I meet with those athletic coordinators every Monday. And then for our other schools, we meet once a month. And I truly look at the growth of those athletic coordinators to see, like, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Because when they take what we're giving them and they're using it, and you can see the growth on their campus because of what we're giving them, that's a key indicator for me. Very much so a key indicator for me. And so we give them a lot. I mean, we give them a lot. We expect a lot from them. Some of them are coaches. Some of them are just athletic coordinators. And we expect a whole lot out of them. And we want to see the product. We want to see participation numbers grow. We want to see those coaches turning in that, you know, making sure that they managing those campuses and those coaches are turning in all of their paperwork on time, whether that be for their student athletes or for themselves, because it's just not the student athletes, it's the coaches having their things in on time and correct as well. We want to make sure and see that they are handling those PAPFs, previous athletic participation forms, on their campus. So when we see those athletic coordinators moving, stepping forward, then that's an indicator for us. We spend a lot of time with them. Yes.
That's good. I think it was Billy Graham who said a coach will impact more people in a year than most people will in a lifetime. So it's so important that coaches grow. So how does your role as the president of the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association, how has that exposure impacted HISD athletics?
Well, in a very positive way, again, because people, again, you spoke about it earlier. You read headlines and you think one thing, but then when you see what we're actually doing, it makes you think another, right? And that has helped in that way. We have a ton of positive things going on in this district, in this city, in this state. And so that just gives people the opportunity to really see what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I think that's important for them to know that we're doing things the right way. We won't have it any other way. And if things are not done the right way, we take care of them, right? There's things that happen, but what do? Do you sit on your hands or do you take care of it? And we take care of those things. And so I think that exposure gives other people the opportunity to really see the heartbeat of what we're actually doing.
Yeah. And that, Coach, this is why I'm so happy that you were here, right? So I got the opportunity to meet you. And you are, it's easy to see. So right above your head, it says change maker. Coach, it's so easy to see that you're a game changer, that you're a change maker, genuine. I don't have to say anything else there. All right, Coach, check this out. Let's do this real quick.
Okay.
If you were to build a Mount Rushmore of athletic professionals in Texas, we could say still living or those who may have gone on to glory. Okay. But if you could build a Mount Rushmore of athletic professionals, who would be on it?
I'm going to stay right here in this district. I have to, right?
Let's go.
I'm going to say Ray Sears. I'm going to say Gary Dunham. I'm going to say Tom Nolan. I'm going to say, oh my goodness, a basketball coach, a long-time basketball coach at Wheatley. Oh, he's going to get me because he's going to hear this. And he's going to call me, and he's 90 plus years old, and he's going to say, I can't believe you couldn't call my name. I'm going to come back to that.
Is that Coach Carr?
Coach Carr. Thank you. Simple as it is. I just had a brain freeze. Let me just say about Coach Carr. Coach Carr, I mean that. He called me 2 weeks ago, and he just wanted to check on me. Man, do you know how much that means to me that Coach Carr calls and check on me? I mean, that is so, I mean, that's like, Coach, I should be calling, checking on you. I just want to check on you, make sure everything's going okay, and just say thank you, Yeah. And I'm like, wow. And so there's so many great, I have to say Marmion Dambrino, who was the athletic director before me. I mean, for 6 years, I followed her everywhere. She opened up so many doors for me, and exposed me to so many different organizations. The AD's Association, the NIAAA, she exposed me to those things, not just being in the organization, but actually things that were going on and making sure I was a part of those activities. So, man, I could go on and on the number of people, man, when you ask me that question.
Yeah. No, I love that you stayed right here in Houston.
Yes,
And
sir.
listen, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pat myself on the back just a little bit, because you were calling names and I was like, that's Madison.
Yep.
That's Lamar.
Yes.
When you said Wheatley, I was like, okay, that's Coach Carr.
Yep.
So I'm getting my Houston
Brazzers,
education together.
Cashmere basketball, a long-time great Cashmere basketball coach, Coach Frankie Brazzers. Give you a quick one about Coach Brazzers. Basketball-wise, my talent allowed me to play at a church in the neighborhood, right? Just tell you, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Coach Brazzers comes up to me and asks me to play basketball for him. And I'm like, Coach, I can't help you. We had a really good team. And you have to know Coach Brazzers to know his mannerism. And he said, Walker, you'll get a couple of minutes. I need you to go in and foul some folks. But my team need a leader, and I need you to be that leader. And that's the regret that I have that I did not do. I did not take him up on that. But to have a Coach Frankie Brazzers ask me to play basketball on his team for whatever reason was really special to me. It really was.
Well, just like Mike Jones used to always rap on the ride.
Right.
Whatever it was that you were doing, he could see it.
Right.
He could see it. He could see the leader in you.
Yes, sir.
He could see. I asked a kid last year, kid wanted to just, Coach, I don't know. And I was like, no. And that the main reason I asked that kid to reconsider was because the team needed a leader.
Got you.
All right, Coach. Before we go into my little commercial break here, looking ahead, what's your long-term vision for the future of Houston ISD athletics?
To continue to grow programs, participation. We want kids participating in programs. We want all kids exposed to whatever they want to participate that we offer. That is the main goal, the main focus. We know what participating in athletics does for an individual, and that's what we want. That's it.
That's right. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Coach, let me do my commercial here. We'll be back in just a second. We'll get back to the conversation in a second, but here at the Coaches Co-op, we're all about building championship level systems on and off the court. This episode is brought to you by the Path for Coaches, because iron sharpens iron and real growth happens when coaches support coaches. If you're looking to level up your team culture, fine-tune your playbook, or just stay motivated through the grind, check out the Path for Coaches. You can find the Path for Coaches at Amazon.com, or you can send me a direct message on IG at podcast_with_Prejean. Unlock the power of mentoring. Discover ways to be a good mentor and find good mentors with the Path for Coaches, Volume 1 Mentoring. All right, let's get back to it. We are in the Coaches Co-op. I have the Senior Executive Director of Athletics and UIL Compliance in HISD, Andre Walker, here with me. All right, Coach, check this out. What's the hardest part of your job that people don't realize?
Making decisions that must be made, and people not understanding why you made that decision. That is the hardest part of my job.
So what's the easiest or most rewarding thing about the job that might surprise some people?
I don't know if this will surprise people, but you talked about me being an assistant principal, and I would like to say I had pretty good relationships with my students, right? I think I did, right? And one of the things the reason why I didn't want to come into athletics at the time that it was available was that I didn't think that I would have those relationships with student athletes or with students, period, right? Like I had on a campus. I found out that is not the case. Okay. I'm going to go down when I get through with you. We have a football game going on, right? And it's players from both teams. I don't see them every day, but it's players from both teams that's going to come up and embrace me, or I'm going to go up and embrace them. And to know that even though they don't see me all the time, I'm not on the campus with them, they understand and know that we still have something, a relationship between that's really cool. I didn't see that happening. I didn't know that would happen. But that's just from whether it's correcting a kid in the locker room, or going to the field, or just saying, hey man, what's up? How y'all doing? Whatever it is. And they remember that, and it builds from there. And I didn't know that was going to happen, Coach, and it has.
That's good. That's good stuff. Okay, so who do you think has the toughest job? Coaches, officials, or athletic administrators?
Coaches.
Okay. That's good stuff.
And this is not to take anything away from the other ones, but coaches, and our coaches, they teach all day. So they don't go to they don't get up to go coach. They get up to go teach. Yeah. Right? And then after they teach and have duty and lunch duty and hall duty and all the other things they have to do, then they coaching jobs start. And so I just think it is truly a tough job. You have to really want to do it. You have to really be selfless, because it's not about you. It's about you helping and growing everybody around you. And so I think coaches they have it tough. They really do. And I think they do a good job with what they do.
Good stuff right there. All right. So if you weren't involved in athletic administration, what would you be doing?
Man, I involved in athletic administration, athletics in some kind of way. There's just nothing else that I would be doing or want to do. And again, that's coming from a person that never wanted to be in education. You know, when I walked across the stage at Texas Southern University, I thought as soon as I walked across the stage, I was going to open up a business and just be very successful. I can't tell you what business that was, right? I don't know. Yeah. But that was my mindset at that time. And so I just don't have a clue, Coach, of what I would be doing and where I would be if it wasn't for athletics.
Listen, I feel you, because all I ever wanted to be, like I said earlier. All right, Coach, do me a favor. Play a game with me.
All right.
So this game, it's a rapid fire type game. I give it a new name every week. I do that on purpose. I don't have a name for it. I just name it after that week's guest. All right. So this week we're going to play this game. It's got 3 rounds, either or, agree, disagree. And then we're going to wrap up with word association. We're going to call it Let's Play with Andre.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. All right. So we're going to start here with either or questions. So right here, Coach, we just want just shoot. First thing comes to mind. Give it to us. Okay. All right, here we go, Coach. First thing right here. Culture builder or strategist? What would you rather be?
Culture builder.
Friday night football game or Saturday morning basketball game?
Friday night football.
Are you a coffee guy or an energy drink guy?
Coffee guy.
Shoe preferences. Classic, old school high tops, or these modern low-cut shoes that the kids wear now?
Neither.
So what would it be?
Huh?
What would it be?
Comfort. Whatever is comfortable.
Whatever is the most comfortable.
Right. Whatever is most comfortable. And those two you named are not comfortable to me.
You not lying, Coach. You're not lying. All right. So watching your teams in HISD, district title or deep playoff run? District title or deep playoff run?
Deep playoff run.
Okay. And that's going to be the last one right here. everything is wrapped up. You got a little time for break. You get a chance to go on vacation. Are you going to the beach or to the mountains?
Beach.
Okay, good stuff right there. All right, so that was the first one. Now we're going to go agree, disagree, agree or disagree. Here we go. Athletic directors are the true bridge between academics and athletics.
Agree.
Great coaches make great administrators.
Disagree.
The best leadership lessons come from losses.
Agree.
Athletics can fix more community issues than policies ever could.
Highly agree.
Okay. The best position on the football field is middle linebacker.
Agree.
Okay, I just made that one up. I knew you would agree, though. All right, here we go. All right, Coach, last round right here. Round right here. All right, we're in the middle of our rapid fire game. This week we're calling it Let's Play with Drake. All right, here we go. Right. Word association. First thing that comes to mind. I'm going to give you a word. You tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Here we go. Mentorship.
Compassion.
Hey, that's a great word. Legacy.
Building.
Houston.
Greatest city ever.
Family.
That's a deep one for me. Mike, that's a deep one for me, and I'm sorry I can't give you just one word with that.
It's all good.
My mom and dad was married 49 years. I'm sorry, before my mom passed, and you know, when we talk about coaches, they have to know what kids need, each one of them, and I didn't need a foundation. I had a foundation from home. I had mom, dad, sisters, brothers. The street I grew up on was nothing but family, cousins, uncles, aunts, just family. And if it wasn't blood related, we still always family.
Yeah.
So when I went to school, I had the foundation, but my coaches put different blocks on that foundation, different bricks, right?
Yeah.
And so when you talk about family, it takes all of us to create that.
That's good. I had another one, but we're going to wrap it right there because that's perfect. Coach, I appreciate you playing that little game with me.
Thank you.
All right. Coach, this brings us into crunch time. So crunch time means we're in the last 5 minutes of this episode. Crunch time works like this. We go 3, 2, and 1. So we'll go 3 in the key, 3 things that all athletic professionals need. Then we'll go 2 shots, 2 of the foulest things or most difficult challenge you've experienced in your role. And then we're going to wrap it up with and one thing that you would like to share before we get out of here. So Andre Walker, let's start with 3 in the key, 3 things that all athletic professionals need. What do you have for us?
Got to have patience. Have to have the ability to make difficult and hard decisions. And you have to be a forward thinker.
It's a great list right there. It's a great list. Patience, the ability to have difficult conversations and make difficult decisions. And you got to be forward thinking. So paint a picture for me, Coach, before we move to 2 shots. Okay. So I'm a coach or an aspiring coach, or I'm a coach who's an aspiring athletic administrator. Mm-hmm. What does forward thinking look like for me?
Looking at where you are and where you want to go, because you can't look at oftentimes a lot of people want to say, Mr. Walker, I want to be an athletic director. I want your job, right? But you don't know what that looks like, right? So you need to look at what do you need to do to prepare yourself for an opportunity, not for a certain job, but for an opportunity, because all of it is so different and it looks different and it is different. So
that's good. That's good. Prepare yourself not for the job, but for the opportunity. That's
Correct.
good stuff right there. All right, coach, this brings us to two shots, two of the toughest challenges or foulest things that you have experienced in your role. What do you have for two shots?
You know, when you have to suspend a student athlete, that's tough, you know, but those are things you have to do, right? But it is tough. Talk about making those tough decisions. And then I talked about this a little bit earlier, you know, understanding the bigger picture. Everybody does not understand what you're looking at. And so when they're looking at something and it doesn't mirror what you're looking at, it's hard for them to really understand that. And so that's difficult because that's when the questions come.
Yeah. And just alluding to what you said earlier, you know, that grassroots approach. Sometimes you have to just have those conversations. You got to talk to people and explain some things to them. And again, sometimes those conversations can be difficult.
Correct.
So make sure you prepare yourself. So those of you watching or listening, make sure that you are preparing yourself for those things. That's your forward thinking. All right, coach, this brings us to and one.
Okay.
This is one thing that you want to share with us before we get out of here. Go for it, coach.
Enjoy your journey. You know, don't look at what's around you. Stay focused on, you know, what you need to do to prepare yourself. Doesn't matter what others are doing, what their journey looks like, but just enjoy your journey. And I believe if you do that, then when you get to where you want to be or where you think you want to be, you'll enjoy it more and you'll have more success because it's yours.
Enjoy your journey. Run your race. Coach, that's good stuff. Listen, everybody, thank you for joining us today on the Coaches Co-op. Big thanks to today's guest, Andre Walker, the Senior Executive Director of Athletics and UIL Compliance in Houston Independent School District. Coach, thank you for sharing your journey and your wisdom. Listen, everybody, if you are walking away with new insight or energy for yourself, for your team, for your program, then we did our job. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe and share this coach with another coach or leader. Leave us a 5-star review. Your ratings and reviews help other coaches find us here in the co-op. Make sure you share this with somebody who needs to hear this wisdom. Help us continue to grow the Coaches Co-op community where coaches do what most people can't. For Andre Walker, I'm Michael Prejean, better known as Coach P. And as always, I need you to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We'll see y'all next time in the co-op. Coach Walker, thank you so much.
Man, thank you.